Okay, what I want to speak about today is how you can ensure that a company's investment in AI adds value. So why should you care? Obviously, there's a lot of people in the audience who want to organise funding. Obviously, you want to make products that make money. And unfortunately, in the area of technology, a lot of companies don't see value on the investment. So for AI technology, that's a very critical thing to focus on. So I'll speak to you just what you need to do to make sure of that today. All right, that depressed-looking guy on the screen is Robert Solow. So Robert Solow was the Nobel Prize winner for economics in 1987, and he's known most famously for what's called the Solow paradox, which is the benefits of the computer age, software, technology, automation, robotics, was benefiting society everywhere except in productivity statistics, and it confused him a lot, hence that photo. So the chart on the screen doesn't really matter. What matters are the trend lines. So you can see two lines there. One's blue, one's purple. Blue is the percentage change in investment in technology, software, automation, robotics. The purple line shows the change in productivity output through that same 30-year period. And as you can see, investment in technology is going up, output's going down year on year, and that confused Solow. Now, I know what you're thinking, that's 1995, the 90s were great for hair and music, but not necessarily for technology. But I've got some more recent data as well here. So this is the last 5 years, and as you can see, Robert Solow is still very confused there. The last 5 years, the spend on, in this case, CRM, which is one of the largest categories of enterprise software, has tripled. And yet, the delivery of product sales productivity, which is what that's for primarily, is plummeting. So I've got data 10 years earlier than this as well. So sales productivity was sitting at about 73% 10 years earlier than this. So in 15 years, it's dropped from 73% to 50%, although the spend on this software has tripled or quadrupled over that same period. So there's something, obviously there's something amiss. So the truth is, most of the users of enterprise software get almost no value from that enterprise software. So there's a small minority of company officers who get value from, say, CRM. The CFO does, a marketing guy does, CIOs do to a point, but the 90-95% of actual users of enterprise software get no value, which is a real problem. So what does that mean? It means they opt out. So the average daily user adoption of CRM at the moment is sitting around about 30-34%, historically at least 26%. It's improved a little bit with post-COVID, with remote work, but it's still disappointing. So if you can imagine you're paying for a CRM in your business, and 60-65% of your team aren't using it every single day, that's a problem. It's a problem on several fronts. It's a problem because the data in the CRM is then inaccurate. So the CFO, the CIO wanting that information is getting bad data, and I'm sure most people know bad data is worse than no data. 68% of people are dissatisfied with ERP software users, so things like SAP. And then the last one, 60% of workers, this was a Forrester study, are frustrated with the software they're forced to use at work. So it leads to turnover, dissatisfied staff, and again, people opting out. So what's going on? Why is technology not delivering productivity gains? And I decided to find out. So I was fortunate enough to co-found, my other co-founders in the audience, a large sales staffing business that grew to 1,500 salespeople. And we were spending an enormous amount of money on a CRM. And so I was determined to find out why we weren't getting a return on that investment. And over a period that took a couple of years of research, we found out exactly what was going on and what most users wanted from their software. And basically, the enterprise software companies, most of the major ones, haven't done that same exercise. So they keep churning out the same type of user interface. They keep churning out features that focus on CFOs and CIOs and to an extent CTOs, and they're ignoring the users in the businesses. So what do users want? It's really quite simple. What users want, especially millennials, is they want the software to tell them what to do every day. They don't have to stare at screens full of dashboards, reports, list views, records. They just want the software to tell them what they should do, automatically, basically in real time. They want the software to tell them how they're performing. They don't have to go to charts and try and work out where they're at in terms of delivering hitting their benchmarks as well. They want the software to tell them how they're performing. And most importantly for millennials, they want the software to tell them how they can get better. So I had to diagnose what they're doing wrong and how they can improve. And so they're pretty demanding with software. So where does this come from? It's really simple. Social media is a lot to blame for this. So for instance, today's Saturday. If I want to see what my brother's doing today, I don't go to Facebook and go to his profile page and see if he's posted what he's going to do today. Facebook serves that to me on their main wall. So Facebook is serving cards to me, telling me everything it thinks I should know. So these users are used to that kind of experience in software. The same on Twitter, same on LinkedIn, same on Threads. So these cards are pushed to us with what we need to know each day. And enterprise software needs to reinvent itself to do the same sorts of things. So what does that mean for companies looking to invest in AI? It means the same thing. So AI is uniquely positioned to answer these three questions. The AI tools properly integrated in enterprise software can do these things. It can tell users what they need to be doing next. It can be telling them how they're performing. And it can be telling them how they can improve on their performance every day. So let's design a perfect system of record. So what's a system of record? A company has to have a database that is its go-to, that stores all of its customer details, all of the activity of its team, all of its pipeline and forecast information. And it needs, obviously, a whole lot of features in that enterprise software package. Usually it's a CRM. So the company needs everyone's clear about, and all of the enterprise software platforms are delivering this at the moment. So it needs security, obviously. It needs auditability and compliance with regulations, HIPAA and GDPR and the like. It needs integration. It needs to be able to pull in data from whatever other software platforms the business is using. Most importantly, those last 2 points. It needs to be the single source of truth. So it needs to contain all of the data about the company's operation, and it needs to be accurate. So we've just explored how 60-65% of users don't use their CRM every day and will either put flawed information in there or no information at all. So how can the company needs be met by today's crop of enterprise software? What they need to do is consider what the team members' needs are, which is no data entry. They don't want to do data entry, so minimize it or get rid of it altogether. In real time, they want to tell them what they need to know, what they need to do to be successful. They want to know where they're at in terms of performance and all these other things. They're a simple user interface. So their needs are not difficult, but they're just not being listened to at the moment. So, who are we? Sentia does this exact same thing. So I founded the business because of that research that I talked about earlier. So we're a smart layer, a product that sits on top of enterprise software packages like Salesforce.com, and we deliver these things in a simple card-based user interface. So we're doing it, it's not about Sentia today, but we're actually delivering that, and the response we get from users is fascinating. They're blown away. Where has this been all my life? We literally have video clips of people saying those sorts of comments. So ask yourself these questions. How do you ensure that a company's investment in AI actually adds value? You need to make sure it's adding value to the users. So we've all seen lots of AI tech where a user can go to a chatbot, type in a question and get what they want. That's not what enterprise users want. They want the AI to be doing the work behind the scenes and pushing that information to them as they need it or before they need it, not having them have to go and do it. How do you evaluate the cost benefit of AI? Well, it's really important that it's adding value to the users, or it will never add value to the company. So I'm happy to take some questions when I'm on the panel next up, but yeah, feel free to ask.
Yeah, anybody have questions for David? Right back here.
Hey, David. The question I have is, let's say after you create a product, what is the most effective, intelligent sounding way to not prove but provide evidence to a prospect customer that you're actually adding value? I'm even more interested because you started with research data.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know what your background is, but I'll bore you about that later. So, is it more scientific? Is it just examples? Is it showing videos? What is the best mix of the type of categories of data that you share with the customer?
when we're selling in our product, we rely on, we tend to be selling to CFOs and CIOs and the like, and they need data. So we get the users happy to use our product, but to sell it in, we definitely need to show cost benefit. Fortunately, with a product like ours, and you guys can produce the same sorts of products, what we do is we track the before and after. So the sort of future case, present case. So we track what the team members' user adoption is now, which is really simple to do in large CRM packages. We do some research before we roll out a product with what their day-to-day actions are and how much time they spend doing certain tasks if they're logging them on the CRM. And then once we deploy a Sentia system, we have really good analytics to keep track of everything on Sentia, showing the improvement. So we typically are giving, and this is not an exaggeration, we've got some case studies on our website, we're typically giving back users up to 90 minutes a day plus by using Sentia. And if you think about it, it's all that time, we do things like draft emails for them, before replies for them before they need it. So when you think about the time spent thinking about what you're going to put in an email and reply to someone, we give them a starting point. If you think about the time you spend looking at list views on CRMs, trying to figure out, well, who am I going to call next? Like, where do I go? We do away with all of that time. So it's really easy to give back big chunks of time to users. And in selling, to answer your question, to sell it in, we present the data, we show them how much time a typical equivalent customer has saved with their team member, and where it was saving to it.
We have right back here, and then we'll move up to the front.
I thank you for taking my call. How do you validate your input and output? You mentioned you validate, and I want to know how you validate your input and how do you validate the output of your model.
You mean in terms of the AIs that we've got integrated inside Sentia, or the model, or the business model?
So you say you trained the model, the system, and that you validate before entering whatever in your system. How do you validate that you're sure what your data you're entering in your system is correct?
Right.
And how do you validate what is output of your system is correct?
To answer that question, our business model is very different to typical software products. So we don't sell a Sentia system to somebody and lead them to it. So our value proposition is we sit down with each of our clients, we configure Sentia to suit their processes. So we can connect to back-end data, we can clean, but usually part of the process is we clean up their databases because there'll be a lot of duplicates and errors. So we're doing all that. So in terms of validating the inputs, we work with the client to make sure that the databases that we connect to are all as clean as possible, and that setup, those inputs are correct and appropriate for their processes. We then deploy our system for each client. So we do the training of their team, we help with the deployment, we do a change management process, and we continue to reconfigure it as often as possible. So our go-to-market model is quite different. So in terms of validating the inputs and outputs, we work very closely with each customer. We don't just hand them a software package. I'm not sure that quite answered the question, but it's about as close as I can get.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your overview of your product and solution. What do you think of other companies, or ERP and CRM companies, also approaching this? Because you have a separate product and importing data from an existing ERP breaks the single source of truth concept, not knowing where to go and what to do with it. So.
My company is a Salesforce partner, so Sentia is built natively on Salesforce. So we're not outside of the Salesforce platform. We sit inside in a tab. But as I said before, we can also interface with Microsoft Dynamics, HubSpot, NetSuite, other CRM packages. We don't detract from them using those CRMs. So if it's Salesforce, for instance, they can still do everything they were doing before with Salesforce. All we're really changing is that user interface, and then surfacing all that useful information via cards. So it's kind of not outside. We're not a third-party application per se. We refer to ourselves as a smart layer that then hides the data, or does the data crunching for users and just surfaces what they need to know.
One more question. Last question.
Yeah, thank you very much. I love the product because we are trying to do something that are on the same scope. And I'm really interested uh, what kind of workflow have you set up to kind of create this product? Is it like an input from any activity output from another, or is it like this some sort of feedback loop?
I'm not quite sure. What we do with Sentia is we connect in, when you're talking about databases, like data sources, we connect into any and all data that makes sense for our client. So they'll have a CRM, and we install onto the CRM, and we have that data. I'll have a Microsoft Excel server usually, so we'll connect into that or SharePoint. They may use Zoom Info or Apollo, so we bring in contact data for them. They may use HubSpot for email marketing, so we'll connect to HubSpot and sync that. But what's important for the users is everyone just lives on Sentia, that front end, that user interface we create. So the back end, we connect to whatever data sources are necessary to deliver that great user experience. I'm happy to talk later if that didn't answer that.